The car hit me so hard, I didn't remember the sound, only the silence after. And when I opened my eyes in the hospital, she wasn't there. We had been together for 4 years, lived together for 2, talked about getting a dog. She used to say I was her home, her person, her always. But always ends quietly when someone doesn't have the stomach to stay through hell. Her name was Claire. And before the accident, I would have bet my life on her. She had this way of making chaos feel like comfort. I'd bring her black coffee every morning, and she'd kiss my neck, still half asleep. We planned to go to Italy. She showed me rings she liked on Instagram. I thought we were building something permanent. I didn't see the cracks until the floor collapsed. And maybe I ignored the signs, like how she flinched at the word forever. When I got hit, I had 6 broken bones and a spinal fracture. The doctors said it'd be a miracle if I walked without a cane. Claire came to the ER that night, eyes swollen, holding my hand like it was already slipping away. She cried, told me she loved me, said she'd be there every step. But people say a lot of things when they're scared. For the first 2 weeks, she visited daily. Then it became every other day. Then phone calls. Then texts. Then silence. I didn't ask for much. I just wanted her hand in mine while I learned to sit again. But by the time I could stand with a walker, she was already gone. And she left me a note. I read that note at 3 a.m., alone, trying to scratch my own back because I couldn't twist my spine yet. It said, I love you, but this is too much. I can't do this. No signature, no heart, just 6 goddamn words that broke every bone the car missed. I stared at that piece of paper until dawn, and that's when I decided I'd walk again. Not for me, for her to see. Every ounce of pain became fuel. Physical therapy was a battlefield, and I was the soldier with no backup. But I gritted my teeth, learned how to take stairs again. I couldn't scream, so I let the ache speak for me. And in every bruise, I etched one name, Claire. Before the accident, Claire told me once, half laughing, half serious, that she wasn't built for tragedy. She'd say, if anything ever happens to you, you better get better fast. I can't handle hospitals. I thought it was dark humor. I smiled, kissed her forehead, and told her she'd be stronger than she thought. I didn't realize she meant it literally, that loving me had fine print, that her love had conditions I'd never seen coming. Looking back, I noticed the little things. How she never stayed long when I got the flu. How she avoided funerals. How she ghosted her best friend when her mom passed. Empathy came with an expiration date. But I didn't care then because she was warm when she was present. And I needed warmth more than I needed reliability. She didn't just walk away. She unraveled us. When my sister reached out to her days after she vanished, Claire told her I was too emotionally dependent. She said I was spiraling and that she couldn't be responsible for my healing. Like I had become a burden instead of a boyfriend. Like being shattered meant I no longer deserved love. The worst part? I believed her for a while. Every time I dropped a cup because my hand wouldn't close right, I imagined her disgusted face. Every time I needed help to pee, I remembered the note, this is too much. Her voice echoed louder than my pain. She broke more than my heart. She broke my belief in what we had. I remember scrolling through her Instagram 2 weeks after she left. She was at a vineyard with friends, laughing, hair curled. No sign of the man she left behind. It gutted me, not because she was smiling, but because she was fine. She moved on like I was a project she abandoned halfway, and I was still trying to move my toes. You don't really know someone until you're no longer useful to them. Claire loved me when I was easy, fun, mobile, but the moment I needed more than kisses and wine nights, she evaporated. She loved the version of me that didn't bleed, and when I bled, she ran. So I made a promise. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't block her. I wouldn't chase closure. I'd rebuild piece by piece. And one day I'd walk again. Not for pride. Not for revenge. But for her to see what she gave up. Rehab became my church, my war zone, my prison, and my resurrection. All in one. 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, every tendon screaming in rebellion. I counted victories in millimeters. First toe wiggle. First unassisted stand. The nurses called me stubborn. The therapists called me brave. I didn't correct them, I was just heartbroken. The pain was bone deep and quiet. Not just physical, emotional, existential. You start to wonder what your body is worth when the person who claimed to love it walks away the moment it breaks. I watched couples in the waiting room, holding hands, whispering jokes, and I felt like an amputee in the heart. But I smiled. I cracked jokes. I said I was fine, because anger kept me alive when hope didn't. Then one day, I found out Claire was following me. Quietly, not in person, online. She hadn't unfollowed me. She was still watching my stories. Every post, every update, every step I recorded, she saw. And that changed everything. So I started sharing more. Not out of vanity, but as a slow, deliberate echo of everything she left. A clip of me walking 20 feet with a cane. A photo of my bruised legs after therapy. A video of me smiling in the mirror, scars and all. Writing, "Stronger every day." She watched them all. Every time. No message. No like. Just the silent tap of presence. But presence is all I needed. I knew what I was doing. I admit that. It wasn't just healing. I wanted her to see it. To watch the man she abandoned grow out of the shell she left him in. To realize she left during the best chapter. The one she didn't have the heart to witness. And somewhere in that tension, something unexpected happened. I started healing for me too. Because in proving her wrong, I started proving myself right. I wasn't a burden. I wasn't too much. I wasn't broken. I was a man rebuilding himself with shaking hands and burning lungs. And each time she viewed a story, I whispered, "Good. Watch me." I didn't need an apology. I needed her to see what she missed. It happened 6 months post-accident. My first full walk, no cane, no brace, no help. Just me, pavement, and 2 trembling legs. I had a friend film it. No music. No fancy edit. Just raw, shaky footage of me taking uneven, miraculous steps. At the end, I looked at the camera and smiled. That smile wasn't for me. It was for Claire. I posted it at midnight with the caption, "You said I was too much. Turns out, I was just enough for myself." I didn't tag her. Didn't mention her name. But I didn't have to. The moment it went live, I saw her watch it. Within 20 minutes, she viewed it 3 times. And then, for the first time in half a year, she messaged me. It said, "I saw your video. You look strong. I'm glad you're okay." My heart didn't know what to do. Rage and longing collided in my chest. I waited a day to respond. Then I simply wrote, "Healing looks better without the people who left during the bleeding." Her reply came fast. I didn't know what to do. Panicked. I was scared. I stared at that message for a long time. Because somewhere beneath the anger, I knew she was telling the truth. She had panicked. She had been scared. But so was I. And I stayed. I fought. I clawed my way back from hell. Alone. So no, fear wasn't an excuse. It was a mirror. We agreed to meet for coffee. Neutral ground. Just to talk. I walked in unassisted. No cane. No brace. Her eyes welled up the second she saw me. "I almost didn't come," she whispered. "I almost didn't survive," I said. She apologized. Genuinely. Tears in her eyes, fingers trembling around the mug. She said she hated herself for what she did. That she watched every video with equal parts pride and guilt. I nodded. I thanked her for the honesty. But I didn't forgive her. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because some things aren't wounds, they're amputations. That moment was our rupture and reckoning all at once. She asked, "Do you think you'll ever trust me again?" I looked out the window, watching a kid trip, then get back up smiling. And I said, "Trust isn't the issue. The problem is, I don't need you anymore." And for the first time, I saw her break. After that coffee, we didn't speak again for weeks. She messaged me once, just a heart emoji. I didn't reply, because healing doesn't always mean reopening the door. Sometimes it means standing in front of it, knowing you could, but choosing not to. And that choice was mine. Word got around, mutual friends, social media, whispers. They saw the video. They saw us at that cafe. Some reached out, surprised I even agreed to see her. Others congratulated me, called me an inspiration, like I was some documentary subject. But none of them knew the nights I cried into my hospital pillow, begging the silence to break. Claire's best friend messaged me, unprovoked. Said she wasn't surprised Claire left, that she never knew how to stay. She told me Claire still cried when my name came up, that she regretted everything, and that she wanted to try again if I'd let her. But regret isn't currency. It doesn't buy back time or love. Could have said yes. Could have gone back. We had history, memories, a million tiny inside jokes. But I also had the memory of lying in that hospital bed, staring at a ceiling tile for hours because I was too weak to move my head. And I had the memory of her not being there. Of that note. 6 words. A wound shaped like paper. I started dating someone new, not seriously at first. But she met me where I was scarred, cautious, still learning how to be touched again. She didn't flinch when I limped. She didn't pity me. She laughed at my jokes and made me feel like a man, not a patient. And when I told her about Claire, she just held my hand and said, "That's her loss." Claire posted something eventually, a vague quote, "Sometimes we destroy the very thing we can't live without." No likes from me, no comments. I didn't need to be cruel. I just needed to be. And being without her felt like breathing for the first time in months. The strangest part of the fallout was realizing I wasn't angry anymore. Not in the way I expected. I thought revenge would satisfy something. But it didn't. Watching her watch me heal wasn't closure. It was just reality. And reality was enough. It's been over a year since the accident. My legs still ache when it rains. Some scars never fade on the body or the soul. But I walk. I run. I dance in the kitchen again, barefoot and dumb and alive. The mirror doesn't scare me anymore. I see a man who rebuilt himself from bone dust and heartbreak. I kept the note, Claire's note, folded, yellowed, tucked inside the drawer where I keep old cards and hospital bracelets. Not because I want to remember the pain, but because it reminds me what I survived. That moment she left didn't define me. It revealed me. I was never too much. I was just more than she could carry. Sometimes I wonder if she watches me still. When I post a hiking photo. When I laugh in a video. When I smile without flinching. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But the difference now is, I don't need her to see it. Because I see myself clearly enough. There's no Hollywood ending here. Claire didn't beg on her knees. I didn't walk off into a sunset with triumphant music. What happened between us was real. And messy. And human. We loved. We failed. We broke. And in that break, I became someone I never expected to be, whole. My new girlfriend sometimes asks if I still think about Claire. I'm honest. Yes, sometimes. Because ghosts don't vanish just because you move houses. But I also tell her this. I wouldn't go back. Not even if she begged. Because what I learned in that silence, in that lonely hospital room, was that the only love I needed was the one I built inside myself. If Claire ever reads this, if by some weird twist she finds this post, I hope she knows, I don't hate her. I don't love her either. I feel something in between, like a healed wound that still itches in the cold. But she gave me something no one else could have. She gave me the chance to become a man I had to meet alone. And to the person reading this, maybe broken, maybe abandoned, don't chase those who left you during your worst. Don't beg the weak to love you stronger. You're not too much. You're not a burden. You're just becoming someone they were never strong enough to stand beside.